Hey everyone, Tony G. So in today's video, we're going to be doing a massage on the flexor mass of your arm. Okay. In the next video, we'll be doing the extensor mass. Okay. Now typically you can do these back to back. However, sometimes just working on one can actually be sufficient enough. Now typically, if you are working on the inner arm, this can also be correlated with medial epicondylitis and or sometimes wrist pain. Keeping that in mind, you know, if while you're doing this you get numbness, tingling, or sharp stabbing pain with things, stop. Have yourself checked out by a medical practitioner just to make sure that everything is all right. However, if we've cleared that, then what you want to do is you're going to grab your massage gun here. You're going to start, of course, with the flathead. I just realized how dark this is. You're going to start with a flathead while you're working on this, okay? Now, sometimes near people's elbow can be a very, very bony area. Remember that if you're using the massage gun and you run over a bony prominence, you don't necessarily want to do this because you can actually irritate the tissues and make them worse. So be mindful of where your elbow is, not to mention if this thing hits your olecranon process or any of your kind of elbow, you're going to feel it. It's going to hurt, okay? So keeping that in mind, let's not do that. We're going to turn the setting on. Now typically I have found that settings 2 on most massage guns tend to be therapeutically sound for the most part. Okay, now all we're going to do, I should probably remove my watch for this now that I think about it. Start on our left hand, okay, just going to work from the palm all the way up to just before the elbow, just kind of working in that area, okay. Now, this muscle group, as we just kind of scroll up and down, I'm just going to kind of talk you through it. This muscle group is not particularly dense, so it doesn't require a lot of pressure. Remember, when you're using the massage guns, you never want to try to drive the gun into yourself as hard as you can. You want to let the gun do the work so you don't burn the motor out. Now, keeping this in mind also, most people's forearms aren't usually too meaty for the most part, so you don't necessarily want to apply too much pressure. Just having the gun roll over, scanning the area up and down, looking for tender points, is a good way of doing this. Now typically you can go up and down for approximately 1 minute, just kind of feeling for tense areas. Now what I have found is that closer to the elbow, more on the inside, you're going to find a lot of tender points. Now if you wanted to integrate a potential stretch where you would kind of put your arm down and then massage it as well, this can also intensify the sensation. Okay, now I wouldn't necessarily do this from the get-go. I want to make sure that I'm scanning the area, finding tense areas, and let's say I found a tense area like right here, and I was like, oh wow, that really hurts. Then you could potentially add a stretch so that you really release the muscle fibers underneath, okay? That feels good, okay? And as always, you want to make sure that you're doing both sides, you're bilateral or you're equal. Now it is very common for us to have dominant versus non-dominant hands, but that doesn't necessarily mean that our non-dominant hand isn't doing things throughout the day and that we want to ignore it. So make sure that you're working both sides, you know, give both sides of your body some love, okay? And it's the same thing. We're going to start at the top of the wrist and we're just going to go straight down towards the elbow and just scanning up and down, okay? Now, again, because these aren't typically a dense area where there's a lot of tissue, I wouldn't necessarily go the full 2 minutes. I would perhaps do like a minute, maybe change. If you are feeling very, very tense, tight, perhaps you're like a construction worker, an electrician, or somebody who just really uses their hands a lot throughout the day, then you might need a little bit more time, okay? The good thing about this is, and I've come to find this out that, oh, well, I don't have time to do this. Well, here's the thing. If you don't make time for health, you're going to make time for pain. And that's just the truth. So you want to make sure that, you know, you're giving yourself adequate attention, okay? Not to mention, this can actually increase your work productivity. So, you know, make sure that you're working on that on the inside, okay? And we're just going to scan back and forth, kind of giving a nice global scan, feeling things out. Typically about mid-forearm is where you'll tend to find a lot of tense areas. Now you could do also something that's called an active release, where you're flexing your wrist back and forth, kind of really trying to work on decreasing all the tension to the tissues. And that's a good way of kind of working on it. Okay? I hope this video has helped. Please, everyone, give that a try. If your wrists or elbows hurt, I'm sure it'll help. Thanks for watching. As always, please make sure to hit the like, subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.